Hi everybody, I'm obviously back again. Today I actually do have Lady out. She usually does not like being picked up as often. She has been not wanting to eat so much for me lately, and she's been just getting older, I think, because I don't even know how old she is. Because when I adopted her she was already fully grown, so it's almost impossible to figure out how old a leopard gecko is if they're already fully grown. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I have Lady out today because I got a request from a few people that they wanted to see a leopard gecko care video. And I've had her for almost, or maybe over a year now, I think. And I feel pretty comfortable doing a video like this. I was reading a whole lot about them, literally even before this video, just so I know I get my facts straight for sure. But I'll just tell you everything that I do and a little bit extra if you want to know more and to expand your options and things that you could do with leopard geckos, because they're very, very diverse animals when it comes to taking care of them. There's a bunch of different ways and things you can do, and it's really awesome. So without further ado, I'll start with that. To start off first, a little bit about leopard geckos if you don't know much about them. They are probably your easiest reptile for you to start with. I'm very glad I started with her. She's very simple. I have her in a 10-gallon tank. I was thinking about moving her to a bigger one, and I literally bought a 20-gallon tank while I was in New Mexico the past week. But I think I'm going to put something else in that in a month. I think I'm going to put something else in that in a month or so, so we'll see how it goes. But so far she lives in a 10-gallon tank with 2 hides, a water bowl, a little calcium powder cup thing that I'll talk about later, and she has her thermometers and heating pads and all her things that she needs to thrive, basically. They're very easy, as I was saying. They usually are very friendly. They are okay with being held. The only reason why I think that she didn't like being held so much is because I didn't hold her for a long time. It's good to, just like hedgehogs, to hold them as often as you can, but with reptiles like her, it's not as necessary to hold them every day like a hedgehog is to keep them friendly. But she also had different owners, obviously, before me, so I don't know her past or anything. So I just kind of go on her level. If she wants to be held today, I'll hold her. If she doesn't, I won't. And today, she just let me pick her right up, and it was really cool because it's been a long time since she's let me do that. And I think it's because that she's feeling a lot better lately. And I'll tell you about that later throughout at the end of the video. But she is very, very pretty. I have other up closes of her in different videos, but she's being very good, very still. I don't know if it's gonna focus. I can literally put her on my shoulder if I want to. Sometimes she likes to crawl all the way down my back if I do that though. She won't jump off me, although one time she tried to, but it was because I was close to a desk or something and she wanted to jump on the desk. But if I have her way up here, she's not going to jump off me. So they're really, really cool, really chill. They don't move around a lot, or at least she doesn't when she's older. So you can just hold them in your hand like this and they'll stay there pretty much. They like being in a more upright position, kind of like how she has her head peeking over my hand so she can see everything. Her body is up and she is just holding on hello, and she's just looking around. But a lot of people, what in the world are you doing? That's my dog. Alright, I'm gonna act like that's not happening. They like being held in a more upright position. A lot of people hold them I can't. Louie! A lot of people hold them grab them like this and hold them up. I have to show you this, I can't be in the way of it. Just so they can see everything that's going on, and But this works too. This is, I think, how she prefers it, because I don't think she likes being like manhandled kind of thing. This, she feels a little bit more open to her surroundings, and I don't know, she just doesn't like being touched too much, I don't think. But let's see if I can get this to like, there's a good. But yeah, as I was saying, they're very, very good first reptiles for people. They don't require a lot of upkeep. They're super easy to clean up after whenever they like go to the bathroom or something. See how calm she is. She absolutely loves this, I think. She's glad to be out of her cage, because it's been a while since I've been able to actually do that for her. But simple stuff. They're easy to take care of. Usually super easy to hold. It kind of depends on the leopard gecko too itself, but if they're pretty tame, and most of them are, they're very easy to hold and take care of. And they don't require a lot of equipment either. Like I was saying, I have 2 hides, a water dish, a heating pad that was like maybe $10 that I stuck at the bottom of her tank on one half to keep it hot on one side, or warm, not hot, sorry. Don't attack me for saying that. That's about it. The only thing that costs like a lot for basically any animal that you have, and it's just a matter of responsibility, is having the money to buy their food that they require. So leopard geckos, when it comes to food, I feed her, or at least I used to. Lately, I put her on a different diet because of, I'll tell you about it, but I usually feed her crickets. I buy them from a pet store in like bulk, but like not huge, because I only have one reptile who eats crickets right now, so I don't really need to buy a lot. So I'll buy between like 15 to 25 a week, and what I do is, let me grab it to actually just show you. It's really cool. I recently went out and bought a new one of these because I liked this one a little bit more. But this is my cricket enclosure with all these little tubes and stuff. I actually need to go buy more crickets, and I need to clean this one out. And it's really good to keep up on cleaning your cricket stuff, just so no like disease is spread within the crickets and whatever. But let me scoot back. But yeah, what this little like contraption does is that you put your crickets in here, and crickets have like the natural instinct to want to like climb on things and perch on things. So what they'll do is that they'll go inside these like tubes, and they'll just chill out in there. I don't know if there's actually any in here. There's not right now, but what they do is they climb inside here, and so just to get them out, all you have to do, sorry lady, is pull out a tube and keep it in an upright position real quick, and then you dump it into your enclosure or whatever. But along with that, you don't really want to dump it into the enclosure immediately, because what I do is that I buy, let me grab it, calcium powder with D3, with vitamin D3 and calcium, sorry, whatever, it's a mouthful. Because leopard geckos require this supplement for their food. So what you want to do is you want to dump your crickets into like a little plastic Ziploc bag or some kind of cup that is filled or has some of this stuff in it. This is the kind I have. There's a bunch of different brands, but I'll put a link for it in the description. It's the National Geographic Reptile Calcium Supplement Powder with vitamin D3, blah, 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 because they need that. And the reason they need that is because without that supplement, they can develop a metabolic bone disease. And when that happens, you get leopard geckos that look like this, and it's really sad, and they die, and they get deformed or whatever, and it's a terrible thing. So supplements are an absolute must. Like, you have to have this for your leopard gecko, especially younger leopard geckos who are still developing. That is super important because you don't want them to develop even more like, I don't know, insane. But yeah, what you do is you just put the crickets in the bag with the powder, you shake it up a little bit, and then take the crickets out either with your fingers, with tweezers. Sometimes I usually just open up the plastic bag over her thing and like tap them out, like 2 or 3 until she eats them all or whatever. And that's usually pretty good. But you also, I kind of said this backwards, you need to gut fill your feeding insect. Like your cricket, you would gut fill it. So what I use to gut fill my crickets is Fluker's Orange Cube Complete Cricket Diet. This is what it looks like. They have bigger jars or whatever of these at your pet store too. This is just a small one because I don't need anything bigger than this. But this will hydrate your cricket. It will give it all the nutrients and stuff that it needs for the cricket to be more nutritional for your gecko. Because you want your gecko to be getting a lot of nutrients from its food, and if you give it a cricket straight from the pet store, it's not really going to have any nutrients in it whatsoever. So you want to give them one of these like cubes or something 24 hours before you actually feed your leopard gecko. And if you don't want to go out and buy this, you can also just use household food items like spinach, kale, oranges, apples, literally like anything healthy you could feed your crickets and gut load them with. And it's just a necessity for your leopard gecko. But I highly recommend the Fluker's brand. It's more trustworthy, I feel like. You can also put this in there and some fruit and veggies and green beans and carrots and whatever. What I also use sometimes, I throw in this Fluker's Cricket Quencher calcium fortified because it's a little bit more calcium for my cricket, for my gecko. And this is basically a solidified water source for my crickets too. Like even if like the cubes aren't enough, that's actually new. I just started doing the cubes. But I've always had the Cricket Quencher, and it is basically a water source so that they don't drown if you put like a cup of water in there, because they'll drown in that. But they can eat this and it will keep them hydrated, and it also has some calcium in it, so that's awesome. But that's all about the crickets. I also lately, because she has been not wanting to eat as much, she's not refusing food, but I noticed her tail was not as like luscious and fat and on the fatter side, because she was always a little plump, but and it was getting a little bit thinner, and she was not like wanting to eat for me so much. She wouldn't eat as much as an adult leopard gecko should. She was eating like, I don't even know, she's eating so much better now, so I can't even think of it. She just wasn't eating enough for me. So what I did is I went out and bought a thing of wax worms, which is basically like mealworms kind of, but they're squishier and they're white and they're really fattening. They're like a treat, for like a dog treat, but like for a gecko treat. And what I've been doing is I've been giving her a lot of those every day to fatten her back up, and I like put those in calcium too to get that in there. But with her cricket diet, if she can even catch them, because she's so old and slow now. But I've been basing her on a mealworm and waxworm diet because it is easier for her to catch and see. And if she sees a cricket, like sometimes she like jams her face into the ground and misses the cricket, and like I don't know, she's a mess when it comes to hunting. She's a terrible hunter. But we try and make whatever works work, and I always make sure that she has enough food to eat for the day or the few days that I'm feeding her throughout the week. But yeah, waxworms is a really good fattening food, and it's good to gut load those too, so she's actually getting nutrients, not just like the fat from it. So I will put like one of these cubes or something in there too, to keep them hydrated and eating it and whatever. But yeah, she likes those a lot, obviously, because they taste better, because it's like a treat. But what was that for? But yeah, that's like the basis of food. I wouldn't like try to completely put your lizard on a mealworm, waxworm diet. It's just something that I have to adjust her to get her back to her healthier level. So that's why I'm doing that. But I still have the crickets that I am feeding her what she will eat. And if they don't eat anything that you give to them, like if there's still stuff left over after an hour or maybe like maximum 2 hours of being in the tank, you always are supposed to remove it. just so it doesn't die in there or harm them in their sleep, or and if it dies in there, it'll I don't know, dead stuff, gross diseases. You don't want that. But yeah, that's about the basis for food. You can also give them dubia roaches, which is a really good thing that I don't really know anything about. I just heard about it and I want to look more into it. But dubia roaches are good. Crickets, mealworms, waxworms are treats. She's loving those right now. But yeah, that's about it for the food. But when it comes to water and moisture, these guys, they require their tank to be at a split temperature almost. So one half of the tank should be around I think it was 85 degrees temperature. That's what I try to keep it around, 85. And then the cool side, I think you can go as high as 88 and as low as 80, but it should be 85 is safe. They can pick which temperature they want, 70 to 72 degrees, whatever is easy for you to keep balance and keep your lizard comfortable. But so what you do for that is that I have a heating pad underneath one side of my tank, and on the other side I don't really do anything to, because that's house temperature. So the heating pad keeps it at the warm side, and the nothing side keeps it at the cool side. And what I do with that is I keep her dark hide, which is a rock, a big rock, and it's real dark and stuff, and I keep that on the cooling side. And then I have this little plastic container that I keep on the warm side-ish. It's kind of away from the heating pad though, just so she doesn't have to always be on it if she doesn't want to. You're always supposed to have a water dish, a shallow water dish, for them to keep themselves hydrated and drink water if they need to. And I would keep that refreshed at least once a week, at least. And if any bugs, food or whatever makes their way in there, or you see feces somehow get in there, usually they're really good about pooping in one area at all times. Hers is in the front corner. But if you see anything that's disturbing the fresh, clean water, take the water out, go clean it, and put some new water in, because you never want to have contaminated water, because that'll lead to a sick gecko. And you don't want that, because you don't want to have to deal with bringing him to the vet if you can afford that or whatever. You just keep your water clean. And with one of your hides, you want to be able to make it moisturize, you want to moisturize it to keep it moist. Sorry, no one likes that word. You want to keep it damp. So what I have that I use for that is this mister. This is what it looks like. You pump it and then you spray it. Sorry, Louie. So I spray down her other hide that I keep on the other side of her tank twice a day. If I ever see it not wet, I make sure I spray it, but I at least spray it twice a day. When I wake up, when I go to bed, whatever. But because that's always a good place for them to go if they're feeling dehydrated and they need to soak in that moisture. So, and I don't know what she's doing. She's kissing me. Yeah, you always want to have a dry hide and a moist hide. I keep my dry hide dark, and my moist hide is a foggy clear kind of container. I want to get a new one, pretty much, because I don't want it to be see-through for her, because I want her to be able to go somewhere that she feels safe and quiet. But I don't know, she tends to like being in the moist one the most for some reason. The clear one, she likes being in there. And it's not even that big, it's a little small for her size too, and she likes just curling up in it. And her rock one is so much bigger, but yeah, that's about the basis of that. I have to think, what else is there? I know what I'm missing. I need to talk about the flooring of, look at me just holding my lizard, how is this comfortable? But the bedding that people use for their aquariums and their whatever you want to call it, the enclosure, that is extremely, extremely important. And I've read so many things that I really don't agree with, and so many, I have a Leopard Gecko book all about them that I've learned a lot from, but I really don't agree with what they say on the bedding. And this is really a debated topic. Louie, stop. This is a really debatable topic between people, and it just kind of comes down to the lizard and the owner. But I use a carpet, a reptile carpet, because it is literally like the safest thing that you could probably use for a reptile. It will cause the least amount of harm for them. It's easy to clean. You take it out, shake it off, throw it in the wash in the dryer. It's perfectly easy. But that's what I love about those so much. But what a lot of people in books and websites and whatever care thing you want to look at, they say that sand is a really good thing that you can use. And that's one thing I don't agree with, especially not babies. Babies are not supposed to be in, little tiny leopard geckos, aren't supposed to be in sand, because when they hunt, they could They can accidentally ingest some of the sand whenever they strike their food. And usually adults aren't so bad about that, but if they strike and they eat too much sand, it will cause impaction in their stomach. This is normal. This happens so much, but they will get all that clumped up in their stomach, and it will cause a lot of problems and a lot of vet visits and expensive whatever. I just think it's the safest thing to do for your animal is to stay away from it, because there's so many other options you can use. You can use the carpet, you can use tile. If you want to put tile things in there, you can use newspaper, you can use paper towels, literally there's so many different other options besides sand. Even though sand might be prettier and it might seem more natural, it's really not. They don't live on a beach. They live in dry climated areas, so it's not sandy. It'll be more dirt-y if anything. And also stay away from shavings, literally any shavings. It's easy to ingest on accident, and some of them are toxic too. I just stay away from sand and all the dirt, all the shavings and mulches and whatever, and stick to the carpet, because it's comfortable, it's easy to walk on, it's easy to see their food. Their food can't hide, crickets and stuff can't bury themselves in the carpet, and worms can't bury themselves in the carpet. So that's good. But yeah.